Prabhupada ki, Harinam Sankirtan ki, Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayesu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, and this chapter number 84, the sages' teachings at Kurukshetra. And we are going through these verses where Vasudeva has asked some questions to the sages who assembled at Kurukshetra. So, yesterday we discussed till verse number 33, and on the instructions of His Grace Hemagiri Prabhu, he told me to discuss on few series of verses and not just one verse. So, this particular section where Vasudeva is inquiring from the sages, and the sages are responding to him. So verses number 34 to 41 is the reply, the response given by the sages to the question of Vasudeva. So some of them have small purports, most of them don't have purports. So we'll directly go to verse number 41, recite it, and then we'll go through this all series of verses. So text 41. Vasudeva bhavanunam bhaktya parmaya harim jagatam iswaram prarchaha sa yadvam putratam gataha. Vasudeva bhavanunam bhaktya parmaya harim jagatam iswaram prarchaha sa yadvam putratam gataha. Vasudeva bhavanunam bhaktya parmaya harim jagatam iswaram prarchaha sa yadvam putratam gataha. Please chant. Vasudeva bhavanunam bhaktya parmaya harim jagatam iswaram prarchaha sa yadvam putratam Vasudeva Bhavanuna Jagatamishvara Pracha Sayadvam Putratam Gata Vasudeva Bhavanuna Harim Jagatamishwaram Prartha Sayadvam Putratam Gata Mataji's Vasudeva Bhavanunam Bhakta Parmaya Hari Sayadvam Putratam Hariya. Word to word meaning, translation, and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vasudeva, O Vasudev, Bhavan, your good self, Nunam, doubtlessly, Bhaktya, with devotion, Paramaya, supreme, Harim, Lord Krishna, Jagatam, of all the worlds, Ishwaram, the supreme controller, Prarchaha, have worshipped thoroughly, Saha, he, Yat, inasmuch, Vam, of both of you, Vasudev and Devaki, Putratam, the role of son, Gataha, has taken on. Translation. O Vasudev, without doubt, you must have previously worshipped Lord Hari, the master of all worlds. Both you and your wife must have perfectly worshipped him with supreme devotion, since he has accepted the role of your son. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti paraphrases the sage's mood as follows. We have answered you who questioned us in the manner of ordinary discourse in the same ordinary way. In truth, however, since you are the eternally liberated Father of the Supreme Lord, neither worldly customs nor the injunctions of scriptures have any authority over you. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the very name Vasudev indicates that Vasudev manifests brilliantly, Divyati, the super excellent wealth, Vasu, of the pure devotional service. In the 11th canto, Narad will again meet with Vasudev and at that time remind him, Devarshi bhutaptaranam patrinam na kinkaro nayamrini charajan sarvatmanaya saranam saranyam gato mukundam parihritya kartam. O King, one who has given up all material duties and has taken full shelter of the lotus feet of Mukunda, who offers shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even his forefathers who have passed away. Since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. One who has surrendered to the Lord's service has no need to serve such persons separately. From Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, verse number 41. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanat Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaur Tushay Namah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Sute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vijvanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I once again feel very unqualified to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam from such a place, but will attempt to share something with the blessings of all the Vaishnavas here and all the senior devotees. With their blessings, we'll try to just read in this Amal Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam. So we see this particular section where it's actually going on from last 3 chapters, which started with chapter number 82, and that was entitled Krishna Meets the Inhabitants of Vrindavan. And we know that there was going to be a solar eclipse, and everyone assembled at Kurukshetra. Everyone, I mean, all the Vrishnis, the Yadavas, the Brajvasis, everyone came to Kurukshetra. It was a great assembly because there was a solar eclipse, and Kurukshetra, we know from Bhagavad-gita, Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, it's a place of pilgrimage. And they came there and they took bath in the lakes. Those lakes were found by whom? Parshuram. So Parshuram killed many times the Kshatriyas who were adharmic, and with their blood those lakes were formed. And all of these Yadavas, Pandavas, Vrishnis, Vrajvasis, everyone assembled in Kurukshetra. They did their various rituals, took bath in the lake, and then we see they started meeting each other. The Krishna met the Brajvasis, he met all the cowherd girls. Draupadi, she met all the queens of Krishna. All the Vrishnis, they met the Kauravas, and like that, all assembly is going on, just like we are seeing right now in the current scenario. This Kumbh Mela is going on, and everyone has assembled there at the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. So all have assembled here. And in this particular chapter, the sages' teachings at Kurukshetra, we see that the sages came and they all were like very powerful, very, very glorious and very powerful sages who assembled there. And when Krishna saw all these sages, what did he do? He started glorifying them. He glorified them in various verses we have read previously. And after he glorified all of them, in return, or actually the sages came there to see Krishna and Balram. Their purpose of coming was to have darshan of Krishna and Balram. And all these sages, they also started offering their prayers to Krishna. So after offering their prayers, all these sages, all these great sages, were about to go. Just to remind you the names of who all came there. They were not... They included Dvaipayana, Narad, Chevan, Devala and Asita, Vishwamitra, Satananda, Bharadwaj and Gautama, Lord Parshuram and his disciples, Vasishtha, Galava, Bhrigu, Pulatsya and Kashyapa, Atri, Markandeya and Brihaspati, Dvaita, Trita, Ekata, and the four Kumaras, Angira, Agatsya, Yagyavalkya, and Vamadev. So, just imagine what all these powerful great sages, they all have assembled for darshan of Krishna. Krishna, seeing them, he glorifies, he worships them with beautiful verses, glorifying the sages. And then all the sages also glorify Krishna. And that was their whole purpose, to come there, to take darshan of Krishna. So after glorifying Krishna, all these sages, they were about to depart. And yesterday we heard that when they were about to depart, at that time, suddenly Vasudeva, he asked a question. And his question was that, O sages, kindly tell us how the reactions of one's work can be counteracted by further work. So he asked them a question about his own spiritual advancement, about his own life, and with all humility. And when he asked this question, so just few moments before, there has been sages glorifying Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Krishna glorifying the sages, and Vasudeva is asking such a question. Then immediately Narad Muni, he sees that the situation will become little awkward. And he just mentions there that Vasudeva is asking this question because he considers Krishna a mere boy. Krishna is there, and considering Krishna a mere boy, Vasudeva is asking this question. And then further he says, we heard yesterday from Anandagaur Prabhu that how familiarity breeds contempt, and people staying on the banks of Ganges may go to other place for purification. So all this we heard yesterday. So since Vasudeva asked this question and the sages were there, so the sages answered to his question, and this is all the verses number 34 to 41 are the answers given by the sages to the questions of Vasudeva. So we'll go from verse number 34 onwards. Atho churmanyo rajan abhyasana kahadudundibhim sarvesam sinvatam ragyam tathevachito ramayo. Sukadeva Goswami continued. The sages then spoke again, O king, addressing Vasudeva, while all the kings along with the Lord Achyuta and Lord Ram listened. So the sages started responding to the question asked by Vasudeva, and everyone was hearing, everyone was listening to this, to their talk, including Krishna and Balram. Karmana karma nirhara esa sadhu nirupita Yachradaya Jed Vishnu Sarva Yageshwaram Makhe. The sages said, it has been definitely concluded that work is counteracted by further work when one executes Vedic sacrifices as a means of worshipping Vishnu, the Lord of all sacrifices, with sincere faith. Chittasyopasamoyam vai kavibi sastra chakchusa darshita sugramo yogo dharmaschatma mudavaha. Learned authorities who see through the eye of scriptures had demonstrated that this is the easiest method of subduing the agitated mind and attaining liberation, and that it is a sacred duty which brings joy to the heart. Ayam swastiyena pantha dvijate grihimedhina yat shraddhyayapta vittena suklena jayet purushaha. This is the most auspicious path for a religious householder of the twice-born orders to selflessly worship the personality of Godhead with wealth honestly obtained. Purport. Both Sridhar Swami and Sri Jeev Goswami here agree that the ritual karma of Vedic scriptures is particularly meant for attached householders. Those who are already renounced in Krishna consciousness, like Vasudeva himself, need only cultivate faith in the Lord's devotees, his deity form, his name, the remnants of his food, and his teachings as given in Bhagavad-gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So the instruction is just worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's what we read in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad-gita, various places, that whatever varna and ashrama one is, the goal is of all these varna and ashrama is sam siddhir hari toshanam, just to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if by one's activities, by one's endeavors, if the Lord is not pleased, or if the act is not done to please the Lord, then the same sequence of verses we read that it becomes sham evahi kevalam. It just becomes useless, hard labor with no benefit. So we see in the purport that the purport by given quoted from our Goswami literatures, that one should cultivate their faith in Lord's devotees, his deity form, his name, the remnants of his food and his teachings as given in Bhagavad-gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. SriSriRadhaRasbihariTemple ki jai, Sri Gaur Nitai ki, Sri Sitaram Hanuman ki, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Text number 38. Vittaisanam yagyadaner grihardar sutasanam Amalokaisanam deva kalena visrujed buddha grame tyakta sanha sarve yayur dhiras tapovanam. An intelligent person should learn to renounce his desire for wealth by performing sacrifices and acts of charity. He should learn to renounce his desire for wife and children by experiencing family life, and should learn to renounce his desire for promotion to higher planet and his next life, O saintly Vasudeva, by studying the effects of time. Self-controlled sages who have thus renounced their attachment to household life go to forest to perform austerities. So here we see that it is said that one should perform sacrifices and acts of charity. And all these instructions which the sages are giving, the instruction is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whatever, by the acts of charity or by one is raising his family or anything one wants. Ultimately, the goal is to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead or please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we see in the various pastimes in our scriptures that how the devotees have engaged their resources, their wealth in service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We'll discuss this little ahead after going through these verses. Rinaistribhiridduche jato devarshi pitranam prabho yagya dhyana putrastane anittishrayata jain patet. Dear Prabhu, a member of the twice born classes, is born with three kinds of debts. Those owed to the demigods, to the sages, and to his forefathers. If he leaves his body without first liquidating these debts by performing sacrifices, studying the scriptures, and begetting children, he will fall down into a hellish condition. Purport. Concerning the special obligation of a Brahmana, the Shruti states, Jaimano vai Brahmana stribhir rinvan jayate brahmacharena rishibhyo yagyena duyebhya prajya pitribhaya. Whenever a Brahmana takes birth, three debts are born along with him. He can pay his debt to the sages by celibacy, his debt to the demigods by sacrifice, and his debt to his forefathers by begetting children. The purpose of begetting children is that they will do pindadan. Later on, they will offer pinda. So that is for the deliverance of the forefathers. Text 41. Tvam tadya mukto dvabhyam vai rishi pitor mahamate yagya devana munmuchya nirno asharno bhava. But you, O magnanimous soul, are already free from two of your debts, those to the sages and the forefathers, because he read scriptures and he also got children, so forefather and those to the sages. Now absolve yourself of your debt to the demigods by executing Vedic sacrifices, and in this way free yourself completely of debt and renounce all material shelter. So they are saying that perform all sacrifices, and whatever the debt you have towards the demigods, that also can be paid off. All those debts will be paid off by performing sacrifices. And in the today's verse, which we recited, here the sages conclude, the most important for all of us. O Vasudev, without doubt, you must have previously worshipped Lord Hare, the master of all worlds. Both you and your wife must have perfectly worshipped him with supreme devotion, since he has accepted the role of your son. So here we see that in the purport it is explained that someone who has worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have so much of rin, devarshi, bhutapta, rinam, pitrinam. There we are indebted to the so many demigods, to the forefathers, devarshis, bhutapta, to the forefathers, great sages, ninam, to ordinary living beings, pitrinam, forefathers, relatives, friends, mankind. So many of debt we all have, and if we want to go and pay to everyone's debt, it is practically impossible. So much of austerities, so many kinds of yajna, sacrifices, charity, and still it is not sure that everyone will be pleased. Someone may remain unpleased because maybe we did not do our yajna to please them. So it's very difficult, it's very difficult to please everyone. But it's very easy that if one Sarvatmanaya Sarnam Saranyam Gato Mukundam Parittekartam. If one just takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, complete shelter, and just serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead completely, and by doing that, all the debts are paid off. All the debts to whatever we have are paid off just by completely serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just by taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So these are the instructions of the sages to Vasudeva. And they are glorifying him that why to worry, why, for you what to worry, since you have already done so much of sacrifice, you must have done so much of devotion, and that's how Krishna is your son. Krishna is your son. But Vasudeva has no such pride. I am the father of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I have no worries. Everything is fixed for me. It's not like that. Even he is so careful and cautious that when the opportunity is there to meet the sages, he is taking the benefit of that opportunity by asking some questions for his own spiritual advancement. And that is the purpose, that is the benefit or purpose of meeting all the sages or the great devotees. So just like we were celebrating or observing this Kumbh Mela festival, and we saw that so many sages, so many people have come from various parts of the country, so many ascetics, and very, very rigorous in doing their austerities, very, very strong in austerities. I mean, if we see, then we have really very blissful life. But there we saw in Kumbh Mela that how all these people who have come, so much of austerity, and all of them have just assembled with a desire that on the special days, Amrit Snan day, to take bath in the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati and get the Amrit or get moksha and get liberated. So we see that people have this desire that how I can counteract my sinful reactions, how I can counteract all the, the bondages which we have, and that's how they have come. How this year the government statistics says that they were expecting 40 crores people to participate in Kumbh Mela, but it says it has already crossed 55 crores. 55 crores people in 50 days. Not even 50 days, still 4 days to go. And they all have come just to take that sacred dip. But Srila Prabhupada explains that the purpose of visiting there is sadhu sangha, association of devotees. And this association of devotees is most important. In 1971, Srila Prabhupada himself went to Ardha Kumbh Mela and stayed there for 3 weeks. What did Srila Prabhupada do there? He was giving association. So many people were coming to meet him, and he was lecturing them, he was giving instructions to them. Srila Prabhupada spent as a householder almost 13 years of his life in Prayagraj, 1920, late 1920s to somewhere in 1930s, for 13 years. And although the city was known as Allahabad, Prabhupada started his business there by the name Prayag Pharmacy. So that was there very much in Prabhupada's life. That's a Prayagraj. Prayag Pharmacy was the name. And I'm sure he stayed there, then there must be some Kumbh Mela or Ardha Kumbh Mela during Prabhupada as a householder while staying there. So in 1971, during Ardha Kumbh Mela, Srila Prabhupada took all his disciples. That was that in this book, Maharaj, Dancing White Elephants, he writes that all the devotees who had come, Prabhupada got everyone to India and he wanted to start preaching in India. So almost their big group, what was the number? 40 of them. Everyone from India who came to preach in India, all of them came in Kumbh Mela because Prabhupada called them there to preach Krishna consciousness. So they all assembled there, all these devotees along with Srila Prabhupada, and they got a very small place. It was 100 feet by 100 feet, that comes out to be around 10,000 square feet. That's around like a quarter of an acre. This time we had almost 4-acre space, almost as big as ISKCON Juhu. So that was so small start. It was 1971 Ardh Kumbh Mela. And all these devotees with Srila Prabhupada, they would every day have their morning program, Mangala arati, in freezing cold. Now, this time the facilities were very, opulent. Their rooms were having geyser, hot water facility. The temple hall was having gas heaters, so very comfortable. But during that time, I was reading in this book, Dancing with Elephants, that Prabhupada instructed them that you all can go early morning 2:30 and take bath in Sangam and come back by 4:30 for Mangala Arati. And those days, no lights, no electricity, no such facility. And some of the disciples were so strong, as His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj mentions, like His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Har Grace Simana Mataji, and few of them, they would wake up by 2 o'clock, walk almost a mile, then reach to the ghat, take a boat, go in middle of the Sangam, take bath, again come back, walk back another mile and come back and be ready for Mangal Arati at 4:30 a.m. So austere. And many were there who would not even get up because so difficult. This time with all these facilities also it was challenging to get up. Every morning while taking bath at 4 a.m., although it was some geyser, hot water, it was so cold I would feel that why I'm here. So comfortable in ISKCON Juhu and it is so cold, chilling cold there. So it was Prabhupada's disciple would go and just to give association to everyone, they perform Harinam Sankirtan, they would chant publicly for a couple of hours in the mornings, and the evening many guests would come. And every day Srila Prabhupada would give lecture glorifying the holy name and glorifying the glories of holy name, as well as he was constantly speaking on the pastimes of Ajamila, glorifying the holy name. So, even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was on his tour to Vrindavan, he also came to Prayagraj and he stayed there for some time, took bath in Sangam, did dancing kirtan at the very famous temple called Veni Madhav. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Srila Rupa Goswami for 10 days. That whole Rupa Siksha is at the Sangam only, just maybe a few distance away. There is a ghat called Dasa Samet Ghat on the banks of Ganga river, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed Srila Rupa Goswami. So very significant, very significant. Prabhupada visiting there with his disciples to give holy name, to give the pure teachings of Krishna consciousness. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing there. So when we go, it becomes just like we hear in this bhajan by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Gaura amara je sabisthane, brahmano karalo range, se sabisthane heribo ami, pranaya bhakata sange. Wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, Gaura amara je sabisthane, brahmano karo range. Wherever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went with his associates and performed Sankirtan, se sabisthane, I also visit all those places. Se sabisthane heribo ami, I also go. How? Pranaya bhakata sange, in the association of loving devotees who love Krishna. So certainly our goal of visiting there is not just to take a dip, but there is nothing wrong in taking a dip because it's very, very auspicious. The holy rivers Ganga and Yamuna, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Krishna performed their pastimes in those rivers, and they are, in Chaitanya Bhagavat it is mentioned, even in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned, that Krishna appears in this Kali Yuga, not practically just like he appeared in the previous Yuga, but here he appears in the form of wood and water. Wood is Jagannath and water is Ganga Jal. Another place in Chaitanya Bhagavat it is mentioned, he appears in the form of wood as Jagannath, as water Ganga, Tulsi Devi, and Srimad Bhagavatam. So these all are manifestations of Krishna in this Kali Yuga for us to take the opportunity and take the benefit. So just like, I was just thinking that just like all these personalities have assembled in Kurukshetra and the sages have come because there is going to be a complete solar eclipse and they want to take bath in the holy lakes and perform so many rituals. And of course, the most important, the instructions given by the sages. The similar way, we also visit somewhere like this grand festival like Kumbh Mela. It is association of devotees. And there is so much of preaching. Yesterday His Holiness Bhakti Vijay Bhagavat Maharaj gave his presentation that 3.5 lakhs Bhagavad-gita were distributed. Almost 8 lakhs small books were distributed. And 2 lakhs Prabhupada booklet, a small booklet of around 20 pages, which gives a brief description of Srila Prabhupada were distributed. So in total, almost 13.5 to 14 lakh literatures were distributed. Similarly, lakhs of people, not thousand, lakhs of people heard the Mahamantra chanted in the dancing Sankirtan, got the opportunity to take prasadam and take darshan of Jagannath-ji. So such confluences is a great opportunity to spread Krishna consciousness. And considering this, that how important it is, even Srila Prabhupada not only went for Ardha Kumbh Mela, Prabhupada also went for Purna Kumbh Mela in 1977, just to give his association. And going there, we realize that how fortunate we are, because there are sages who are so austere, whom we happen to see that one sage that his austerity is that he's never sitting in his life, he's always standing. Whatever he has to do, he does standing. Other says he never put his hand down. His left hand is always up, always raised. Any moment it's raised. He never takes it down. So such kind of austerities they are doing to make some advancement in their spiritual life. And along with these austerities, so many of them, some one of them sitting on a wheel of spokes, some one of them sitting on a chair which has a fire below. All these austerities to make some spiritual advancement. And so many people are going to them, paying obeisances, and they have their fire burning, and from there they will take some ashes and give them or put on their head. And that's it. They want people all coming to take some blessings from all these sages. And when we see all this is like that, there are many, many. And in this book, Dancing White Elephants, Prabhupada was instructing his disciples that when you meet all these sages or you see them on the way, be very respectful, because they are very, very austere. They also want to make some progress. They also want to realize the Supreme Lord. But they have their way and they are very, very austere. But we realize that how fortunate we are, that for us, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the whole parampara made things so easy for us, that we have every day, nice Sankirtan, which is so blissful. We have nice prasadam, which is so delicious and so enlightening. And we have such nice philosophy. So our whole day is so blissful in Krishna consciousness. And it is so easy to realize Krishna by this process. So when I am there, I am just feeling that how easy it has been made for us in this Kali Yuga. And just imagine if we would have not come to Krishna consciousness, by going there we would have been bewildered by seeing all these great austerities of these sages, and we would also chase behind them to get some blessings, get some bhashma, and just run to take a dip. People, traveling for hours and hours, and on the days like Mauni Amavasya, Vasant Panchami, their vehicle would not even move for 100 meters in 10-12 hours. Because so jam-packed, and the whole goal was just to take a dip, the sacred dip. But we are so fortunate because of Srila Prabhupada, we understand that it is not just the dip, but it is the Sankirtan. It is the association of devotees. And it is the preaching opportunity. So we have a win-win game. You take dip or don't take dip. In any case, we are winner because we have the association of devotees. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, they make a point to come for every Kumbh Mela. This year also His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj came. Do they come just to take a dip? They come just to give association. So many devotees have come to inspire the team of devotees who are there staying for the whole month to spread Krishna consciousness, to go around for book distribution, to go around every day for Harinam Sankirtan. So that is our glorious movement, that things have become so, easily accessible for us. Now it is up to us that we consider this our good fortune and accept it and practice it, or we still remain, looking for something different and go around here and there just for, as our acharyas would say, eye exercise, just trying to see this or see that. So option is with us, that we just take with full faith, just like it is written here in the previous purport, that those who are already renounced in Krishna consciousness, like Vasudeva himself, need only cultivate their faith in Lord's devotees, His deity form, His name, the remnants of His food and His teachings as given in Bhagavad-gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the goal. Just develop our faith in these things. Just develop our full faith in chanting of the holy names, our full faith in association of the sadhus. Just we famous verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, sadhu sang, sarva sastra kai, lava mat sadhu sang, sarva siddhi hai. This association of devotees, how much we should feel grateful that because of this beautiful movement, our Sankirtan movement, we have this opportunity to associate with so many wonderful devotees and learn from them Krishna consciousness. And whatever our life have been previously, so much sins, whatever it may be, just by performance of Sankirtan, just by performance of chanting, we can get purified. We don't have to go into any very complex rituals. The pastime in Chaitanya Charitamrita of a personality, his name was Subudhi Rai. And Subudhi Rai was one time a big landlord, and under him there was later on he became Nawab, but earlier him was his staff, his servant, whose name was Hussain Khan. So one time Subudhi Rai gave Hussain Khan some work to dig the well or lake, which he was not doing so well. So Subudhi Rai hit him with a whip and he got a mark on his back. Later on, what happened that Hussain Khan became Nawab, and his wife saw that on his back there was a mark. So she asked, how come you have got such a mark on your back? And so Hussain Khan said that, when I was servant of Subudhi Rai, he hit me with a whip because some mistakes I did. So the wife said that you must take revenge. You must kill now Subudhi Rai. Kill him. But Hussain Khan said, no, it was just done with all failing of his children to correct me, and he has taken care of me very nicely, he raised me very nicely in a very fatherly way, so I must not do anything like this. But the wife of Hussain Khan was very much behind. Again and again she would say, you must kill Subudhi Rai, you must kill Subudhi Rai, you must kill him. He hit you with a whip. So again and again she was so persistent that Hussain Khan said, okay, I will not kill him. Then the advice was given, at least to make him a Muslim outcast, throw some water from your pitcher on him. That was the culture in those days. And Hussain Khan took some water from his pitcher and he threw on Subudhi Rai, which made him an outcast. He became an outcast and rejected from the Hindu community and Hindu society. So then he took this opportunity to go away from family life, take sannyas. He took this an opportunity in a positive way. And while going on the way, at Varanasi or somewhere, he met some Brahmanas and he asked that I have been, converted, I have become an outcast, converted to Muslim by some water thrown by Hussain Shah. So now how can I purify myself? He asked the process to purification. The Brahmana said that if you want to purify yourself, then you should take boiling hot ghee, drink it, and then you die, and then that's how you get purified. Drink boiling hot ghee. And this was too much. Then later on, Subhadira, he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that now, I have become completely impure, and the water from the Hussain Shah's pot, Hussain Khan's pitcher, has been thrown on me. I'm outcast. So, what to do? How do I get purified? Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, no worries. Just chant, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him, just go on chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and by chanting and chanting and chanting, you will get completely purified. And then you go to Vrindavan. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Subhadira to Vrindavan. So this is instruction. That's the way that if you want to get purified of all our, not just purified, that's the sadhana, and that's the sadhana, that's the goal. Sadhana is chanting the holy names, developing love for Krishna, and that is the goal, that we develop love for Krishna. There's nothing else, no other material motivation. So as we see in this pastime of Subhadira, that just by chanting the holy name, that was the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, just perform chanting of the holy name, just perform Sankirtan and you will be purified. And here also the sages, they told Vasudeva that you have 3 depths. 2 depths are done. One depth was depth towards the sages. It is done by performing celibacy and reading scriptures. Another depth to the forefathers, that is also paid off by having children. Now 3rd depth is remaining, and what was the way to pay that? Perform sacrifices. Perform sacrifices. So now here, that because this is going on, this pastime is going on in the Treta Yuga. So then Vasudeva, he asks, which we'll be reading in the further verses, that he tells all the sages that may I request you that you only perform, you only become priest for my sacrifices. You all please stay back and become priest and help me perform all my sacrifices. So they agreed, and very opulently the sacrifices were performed. But what about us now? For us in Kali Yuga, what is the sacrifice? For Kali Yuga, the sacrifice is Harinam Sankirtan. Very simple. His case, Bhavamanityan Prabhu told me few verses. He said few verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which says that the only sacrifice in Kali Yuga is Harinam Sankirtan. And we should be very much convinced about it. In my experience, seeing devotees many times, devotees take shelter of alternative ways, Okay, chanting is only for the love of Godhead. For everything else, you have to do something else. But that's the only sacrifice. Whether we want to, like if you see people celebrate this Ganesh Chaturthi, and in this Ganesh Chaturthi celebration, they chant, not completely, but at the end they chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So whether to worship any demigods, or to worship Shiva, or Shakti, or anyone, the only way in Kali Yuga is Sankirtan. So few verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita before I conclude. Sankirtana pravartaka Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Sankirtana yagya tanre bhaje sei dhanya. Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya is the initiator of Sankirtan. One who worships him through the Sankirtan is fortunate indeed. Sankirtana yagya kalo Krishna aradhana, seito sumedha paye Krishna racharana. In this age of Kali, the process of worshipping Krishna is to perform sacrifice. Sankirtana yagya kalo Krishna aradhana. Perform sacrifice by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Seito sumedha. One who does so is certainly very intelligent. And what does he get? Paye Krishna racharana. And he attains shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Seito sumedha ara kubuddhi sansara sarva yagya haite Krishna nama yagya sara. Seito sumedha, such person is truly intelligent. Ara kubuddhi sansara, whereas others who have but a poor fund of knowledge must endure the cycle of repeated birth and death. Sarva yagya haite, of all sacrificial performances, Krishna nama yagya sara, the chanting of the holy names is the most sublime yagya for the Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Any comments or any questions? Prabhuji wants to say something.
हरे कृष्ण। वो जो ब्राह्मण थे, कर्मकांडी ब्राह्मण थे, उन्होंने तो उनको ऐसा उपाय बताया कि वो उबाला हुआ घी पी के मर जाए। तो वो लोग एक्चुअली शास्त्र को नहीं जानते थे। ऐसे लोगों ने मिसगाइड करके अपना देश में बहुत लोगों का नुकसान किया है, लेकिन चैतन्य महाप्रभु आके उसमें सुधार किया। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्णा। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर प्रेमानंद।